So good morning, everybody. Welcome to this monthly refresher session in English language. After the workshop, which you attended probably some time back, or some of you attended multiple times. So we have these refresher sessions basically to affirm the concepts we have learned and clarify some of these concepts and build some more some more details based on the principle that we discussed in the workshop. So every refresher session that happens first week, that is the first Sunday of a month. It happens only once in a month in English language. In Telugu language, it happens every week. So anybody is here by choice for English language, please stay here. But if you have joined by chance, there is a Telugu language session going on, you can join that. You can leave it and join the other one. The link is different. Okay, so this one is mainly for those who don't follow Telugu, and we have English language workshops also being conducted, and the participants of those workshops, this is being conducted. Okay, so for today, the topic chosen is this: open heart conversation, open heart tough conversations, in fact. So these are the things I want to discuss about. So we call them heart conversations, HOT, heart conversations. So heart conversations characterized by these things: heart to heart, open and transparent. Conversations between people, human to human, person to person, heart to heart, open conversation, transparent conversations. So, I mean, what I'm sharing comes from little personal experience after understanding some of these principles. Building on these principles, when we implement in the life, perhaps I found this particular thing to be very valuable, and I thought we don't discuss it very explicitly when we discuss human relations in the workshop, but I feel it's very important. So in intimate relationships like wife and husband, and within the family, right, within the family with others, or extended family with brothers, sisters, in-laws, and all, and organizations and institutions where we work, at workplace, in business or organizations. So this is where we have relationships at different level. Some relations are very close, day-to-day interactions are there. Some other place relationship is there, but you don't interact regularly. So there are bound to be some differences between the people on how to do things, whether to do it or not, or the way you make choices, the way other makes choices, the way you are behaving, the way other person behaving. Till we have the sufficient knowledge, right? Till there is a right understanding in all of us, there are bound to be issues. First of all, we should not be even aiming for, we should not be even looking for a situation where there are no issues. There will be differences, there will be issues, there will be problems. First of all, it is about how do we resolve those problems. That is what we are talking about. It would be very convenient ignorance to assume that there won't be problems, right? The degree will vary, but there will be issues. And some of these problems are there for in particularly in close relationship in the office places. They are there for several years. There are some issues. We may have some complaint. We may have some issue about our own wife, husband, a mother, father, or in-laws. I mean, brother, sister in the organization, also with some colleagues or with the boss. So there are some issues, and it's going on for months and months and years, and it doesn't get resolved. And we wish that other person knows about this issue, and he behaves or he makes some changes in his attitude, in his behavior. We wish that, but the thing is that we fail to communicate the same very explicitly to that person. We don't communicate very explicitly. Why? We assume that this is very obvious. Why should I be telling? This is so simple thing, right? This is known to everybody. Or we think that they already know it. If that is the case, but still the change is not there, and we continue to face trouble in those relationships, and the issue continues. Or sometimes and we are hesitant to communicate about it. Very close relationship, very, very close relationship, even as close as wife and husband, but still we are hesitant to communicate certain things. I mean, relationships, even brother, sister, very close. We speak every day, let's say half an hour, but there are two few things about which we just, don't speak at all. There is some hesitation to, speak about these things. It's not that there is no communication, even after talking every day for half an hour, 1 hour, but there are few things which you wish you said it, you wish the other person knows it, but it didn't happen. Why? Because we are afraid that, because see, none of us wants to, whatever level of relationship, even if it is poor, we don't want to make the relationship worse. We are very afraid about it. We're afraid the relationship may break, it may get worsened. We're afraid, apprehensive that, what may happen. We're unsure if I say like this, how the other person will, that take it. And we are worried about the consequence. You don't know, what's going to happen. So all these confusions and uncertainties are there in our mind. So hence we stop ourselves in communicating these things. But there are certainly there are things which we want to say it, which we want to amend. So this is the relationship. This is the status in many relationships. At least, I can say for myself, I can see, in a family, workplace. In fact, this topic also came out of a deep concern and observation of several people close to me, and observation of myself, and which I felt, from inside. I felt that, I should share this. With that feeling, I'm sharing. So just to give some example, and some may be very amusing, very hurtless. They are not hurtless, insignificant. They are insignificant, but still they are there. For example, some mannerisms, right? Maybe, somebody may be burping too loudly, several times in lay, or somebody may be poking his nose, in the house or in the colleagues, and somebody may be, doing something. It's not really very harmful, but at the same time, it's not good, or you're not comfortable also. But then we don't say, to them. We think that, it's not good. Very insignificant things, right? Very amusing stuff. Maybe, at home, you have a family member, who is roaming around in a banyan, let us say, and you don't feel good about it, but then you don't say. I mean, it doesn't cause a big harm, but let's say something like that is there. Let's say, your wife or husband are not keeping their shoes at a proper place, or not, keeping the towel at a proper place. That is something happens in many households, right? Particularly, with men. So you bath and you don't put towel at the proper place. In things like that, very simple things, they're there, they go on, continue, for years. Similarly, minor ones. Let's say, two people are sleeping in a room. One guy wants fan, another guy doesn't want fan. I mean, this issue is that you face inconvenience. The other guy, let's say, snoring, and you are afraid to, communicate, or you don't feel like communicating, but face the inconvenience. Similarly, I see it in office particularly. Some colleagues wish others a good morning or a hi. The other person doesn't reciprocate. And it goes on and on and on for several months, several years. But this guy has a complaint that this guy doesn't even, say good morning or hi in reciprocation. That complaint, is there, and it is serious. So he keeps on doing it, but the other person doesn't even reciprocate. But we don't ever tell him that, so can you, wish me back, right? And we said, why should I tell? I mean, he is such a big person, doesn't even know this much. So that kind of, a situation we face. And it could be very serious thing, like within the family facing certain discrimination. Equality is something very precious. I mean, it is a rare commodity, right? Unless we have, right understanding, the true sense of equality is not there as of now. It's not going to be there also. Equality in the sense of, man, woman, right? Equality in position, equality, at a feeling level, having the feeling that everybody is similar to me. That's what the feeling of respect is about. That is not there in most of us. So if that is not there, so we discriminate. We treat some people different way, other people in a different way. That is there. It's going to happen. So it may be happening, but we don't communicate about it. And we may have difference of opinions within the family or at workplace. And property issues is very big thing. I don't know whether families get better by getting this inherited property or not, but then this property is actually is one of the main reasons, assets and money and whatever given by father or mother, right, are the main reasons that problems or the division in the families are there because of those inherited properties, right? And one can sort out these things. And similarly, relationship with in-laws, right? So there also there can be issues long standing, but we have not worked on those things. I'm just trying to give some examples. So is there any solution if things are like this and they're going on for months and years? How can we sort out these things? The only way obviously is through dialogue. I mean, there is no other way. What can be any other way, right? Whatever you do, it goes on, it continues. Ultimately, we need to have a dialogue about this thing with the other person. It's a different issue that am I in a position to have this dialogue? Is the other person in a position to have this dialogue? Is there a guarantee that their dialogue will yield results or not? All that is there, but dialogue is the way to go, right? And I'm going to talk about this, that how do we do it, right? And I feel we have to plan this, particularly the issue is there for a long time. We have to plan for this, and the plan includes two things. One is the internal preparation, the second is the external preparation. When you want to go from, let's say, Hyderabad to Delhi, you plan for it, you make a ticket booking, right? You book tickets, you pack the luggage, and you prepare inside also to you know get up on early on the day and prepare all that. You plan, you prepare. So similarly, if you want to have this conversation with the concerned person, internally also you prepare, externally also you prepare. So I'll explain more on what is this internal preparation and the external preparation. So internally, I'm talking about having the right feeling, having the right frame of mind, preparing yourself before the conversation, like a match practice. So in that, the first thing is the clarity on the issue. Let us say you're talking about some property dispute or some incident that happened. So do you have clarity on that issue? Why? What is the root cause in this entire issue? What is my position in that issue? What is their position? Where I think there can be a solution. How much I am ready to let go? How much I'm expecting other person to make some adjustments. We need to have a clear clarity on this, and we have to make sure that our position is very clear. Your position is very clear. And here the proposed solution, the approach should be very clear that the center of this entire conversation is the relationship. It's not about trying to get more profit, trying to prove that I am right and you're wrong. And it's not about I mean something else. It's about ensuring or putting some effort to make the relationship better. That is the main thing. It's not about getting some work done through this conversation, nicely do this and all that. It's not about diplomacy and all. So for that, we need to have the true feeling inside. Even after whatever happened, we think that other person has done wrong or I have done wrong and all. So did I come out of this guilt if I have done wrong? Or if other person has, I feel that if other person has done wrong, am I able to forgive that part and let it go and have a positive feeling towards that person? This trust feeling. So only the trust, when the feeling is true inside, then only we can proceed in this. Without that internal preparation, only saying nice words, at words level we are correct, logically we say everything right, but then other person doesn't reciprocate, and that's when we say complaint. But look at the feeling. So the feeling, is it based on the knowledge or is it based on the recent or in the past behavior of that person towards us, right? So it cannot be based on the incidents, it cannot be based on their current competence. The feeling inside us towards that person has to be based on the right understanding that every person wants to be happy, right? But that lacks competency, right? We are related to everyone, and in fact having this feeling of trust is what makes us happy, But anything other than that is going to make me happy, the other person happy. And I lack competence. Other person also lacks competence. This kind of clarity, the feeling and the clarity is there, and then only we can do it. And also another important thing is that you cannot have this conversation with a random person at all. Only when you have good relationship with that person, then you can have this conversation. On tough issues, you cannot randomly go on some day and start this conversation. It is not possible. If you want to have this conversation, right, you need to have a good relationship with them. They already feel that you are the well-wisher. They already feel that, okay, this person wishes good for me and he's also a good person. That kind of impression, they having some trust on you about your reputation, your conduct, then only they will listen and this conversation can happen. So which also means quite a bit of effort. It requires quite a bit of effort, right? So quite a few things. You need to have clarity on the issue. This is internal. Make sure that our position is clear. If you have, I mean, we have to make some arrangements for this, and make sure that in having this conversation, the relationship is something which you are valuing, and make sure that the feeling inside is true. And before having this conversation, the relationship has to be proper. Already the relationship is not good. Already, you have some negative opinion about that person, and it's possible that that other person also have negative opinion to yourself, and you both are talking now. It's not going to, work out, right? So by conducting well, keep this issue aside as of now. First of all, establish a deeper relationship. Whatever level of relationship currently is there, we can take it little more deeper. We can, right? By taking deliberate certain steps, let's work on the relationship, make it normal, then have these conversations. So that is internal preparation. Is internal preparation. And the external preparation is little easy, but it's not so simple also. First of all, to have this conversation, these conversations could be quite longer, and you need to give time to other, give time to you. You have a conversation, take a break, have it again, have it again. These things require time. And if you think you can do it in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, on a random day, so you're calling on phone, so you call at your convenient time, but other person, we don't know what situation he's in. Maybe it's possible that he's tired, it's possible that just half an hour before he had a fighting, it's possible that he has some health problem, it's possible that he has a different mood, it's possible that he's thinking about something else, and suddenly you give this input. So how he will react and all, we don't know. I mean, better that this conversation happen in person, and you take out this time in a very relaxed manner, let's say a complete day out or 2 days, or you, like, it's very tough thing, you go to them. First of all, maybe stay at their place or ask them to come to your place. First, stay there as normal without any agenda, and feel that he's ready to listen to it, then talk about it. So we have to prepare, and the environment is also conducive. It's possible that he's busy in several other things. He's half the mind is somewhere else, and he's not even listening to you properly, right? Ensure that there's no disturbance. Then only these things can happen. It's very serious affairs. These are very serious affairs. So that kind of planning is also required. How much actually we say relationship is important when we ask right understanding, relationships, physical facilities. We say that physical facilities is least important, relationship is second, and the first is right understanding. So how much priority we take? I mean, when was the last time we took a day off just to talk to our wife, and we took a day off without any special occasion or the festival? We take out time because I want to spend time with our relatives, right? And we say that relationship is very important, right? So we need to do this, and this is what external preparation is about, right? And I feel that even in those uh, preparations, even after you do this preparation, it's possible that the outcomes are unexpected. It may not be as you are expecting. So we need to prepare even further. Also, I'm talking about after having this conversation, right? And it may take some time for others to digest. You have said something which they never thought that you will say, and they never thought that you are thinking like this. They also had no clue that the issue is like this. They also had no clue that you are thinking like this. All this very new information and new way for them. So it will take some time, and sometimes it may even boomerang, boomerang, right? and we need to be prepared for facing the consequence, right? In some cases, I'm not saying that this is a 100% guaranteed formula. Even if the situation doesn't change, we are very clear with our position at least. We are very clear with our position. We are clear that, okay, this is my stand. Sorry, I'm getting some beeps. Is there anything wrong? Am I audible, visible?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe somebody unmuted. Okay, fine. So even if our position doesn't change, sorry, even if other person does not change, or the situation doesn't improve, but our position becomes very, very clear. They at least know it now, why you're doing like this, why you're taken this position, and why situation is like this. So at least our part becomes very clear, right? So that's what I want to end here. So I'll also add some my personal notes. Like I had these conversations in the family, particularly with my wife, and several things, and then even in the extended family, on issues which are pending, and then there are differences in the extended family. We had these conversations recently, twice in fact, spread over a few months. Something like 6 hours, 8 hours, we have conversed about everything with extended family members, right? Entire day I took off, I took leave, went to their place and stayed there for 3-4 days and all. And we were surprised, and they were also surprised that we can talk so freely without being afraid of any consequences. And so many things are sorted out. It's not that things have changed dramatically, but it's like some weight that is there on you has come down. You're more free, more joyful, and next time you're talking openly, not keeping something about it in mind. And I've also seen at workplace this thing, particularly with less experienced people, those who joined an organization a few years back. There is some sort of insecurity, some sort of apprehension. I'm talking about people who have highest degrees and lot and big reputation and all that, so they're not lacking confidence, but then they also come with certain manyatas. I mean, certain preconditions are there. No, you cannot speak like this to your boss. You cannot say no to your boss. You cannot have a difference of opinion and explain to them in a very nice way. So there is all kinds of assumptions that once you have the differences, so you suppress, you don't express it, but internally you're opposing. You come out of the office and talk about it to 10 people, but you don't talk about to the person with whom you have the difference. So with that kind of opposition feeling, we keep on working in the suffer at workplace. And I've seen again relatives and friends and families that a woman, right, having issues with the husband, small issues, simple issues, like he's not taking household issues very seriously, not being careful with the money, or all routine issues at home. So all these complaints are there. So many times she speaks with us about this thing. We suggest the solutions. I mean, she's not actually looking for solution, suggest, but she never expresses with her husband directly. So she's okay with speaking about these issues to 5 people. Everybody knows now, but her husband does not know, right? And it goes on for years and years and years. They become old. I mean, they come to a retirement age, right? So like this, within the family, extended family, friends, and we are in an apartment. There, in any apartment society, there are always issues. Always there will be one guy, two guy who doesn't give maintenance on time. There are always issues, but we don't talk, very open heart manner. There are issues. A neighbor has a complaint on other neighbor about the shoe stand, or about some cooler is kept in some other place, somebody parking their vehicle properly and all, but they have complained. They speak to watchman or somebody else, they don't speak to one right? So these things I have seen it so many places. Even I see them even at very bigger level. I mean, these guys, heads of the nations, can't speak to one. A chief minister and the governor can't speak to everyone. So these are the things I see even in the newspapers and everywhere. This, I think, we call it a gentleman conversation when you have these issues. I mean, we somehow lack in these areas and these go on continuing. But I feel these are very important things within the family, within the organization. Whenever I practice these things, there's very dramatic improvement. Right? That is so. This is what I felt we wanted to share with everyone. So I'll stop my input. Whatever thing I wanted to say, I've done it. So the forum is open for questions as usual. So in every reflection session, a speaker puts forward certain points, then opens it for discussion and any queries. Right. So it's open now. So you people can add to it or ask any question. Yeah, I'll leave it to you now. Thank you. Yeah, Chatranjit, please. And please unmute and speak. Namaste.
Namaste, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think another important point you mentioned about our position being clear after the conversation. At times we may reiterate or reconsolidate our position, whereas probably the need might be to reconsider our position.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes we think we are right, unwilling to enter into conversation without willing to reconsider our position, and that's the reason where the conversation ends or stops.
Yes.
And if other gets this feeling that I'm not willing to reconsider my position based on input provided by the other person, then the conversation is lost.
Yes.
So, many times I experience this. So, and end of conversation, at times both sides reiterate their position. So that may be right as per their understanding, but at times it may be unwillingness to reconsider because of ego issues, etc. So I experienced that sometimes if we press too hard for the conversation, other side goes into tell or in a protection mode. So at times, yeah, it is very important to find the right opportunity, as you mentioned. The other person is in a mood, willing to listen. We need to determine this. If we not get that right, the outcome may be counterproductive. That's what I experience. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's very important point. Even after the conversation, if we ourselves have to reconsider the position, if you are not open to it, it's not going to lead to any solution. Yes, and somehow in families or in the workplaces, we don't have a free conversation kind of relationship with everybody. I mean, people talk when they meet in a function. They don't talk when they meet one to one in a house. All these are there. I think we can be very conscious about it, that which person, where he talks, where he doesn't talk. People talk when they're going together in a train, but they don't talk at home. So these things are there. Even in an organization, every time people are busy with everyday things. But when they meet somewhere else, they may talk. And that's why organization tend to organize some retreats and some conferences, some meetings once a year, and these things. So all these things facilitate the conversations, in fact. So we can, in fact, plan for it in a deliberate manner and have these conversations go on, even if we are not able to reconsider it, or even if we are unable to change our position. But it is the only conversations that are going to solve the problem, right? Ultimately, we have to work it out, right? Although all these difficulties are there.
Okay, so I'll share.
Giri wants
an example of mine. So I don't know if it's true for your organization also or not. Since I work in TCS, recently they have, when you are taking a sick leave, right? So there is some option that they have added where we can take mental sick leave, basically. Like, you are not
Mhm.
physically sick, but you are taking mentally sick leave off. You can take. So I think the purpose of it is more for taking off, spend time with your family, spending good time so that issues your, wherever issues, wherever your mental health is not well, that would be sorted out. So may not be, seeing a doctor or anything, but it is something that we will have to sort out, and for that reason they have given, one of the sick leave. So, but then I don't know if people, and I know it's just because of this topic today, I was kind of thinking that whether am I really using that, right? So really for that purpose, I mean I've never put in such that leave, but maybe some things that I really need that kind of leaves, and then maybe I will need to work on such things where I do take some leaves and then spend time with my family. Whatever small issues that we already have, most of us do really have issues in our family, and spending need to be put out, like express out well, so that our issues are sorted out. So I think that's very important to make use of such leaves and work out with our own family members, spend good time, so that our issues and we are mentally fit also, basically. So that's what I wanted to convey there.
Yeah, it's very appreciable that the TCS is sensitive about this. Good.
Yeah, they've recently introduced this actually, like
That's nice
probably
thing.
1 or 2 years or something like that, before lockdown.
Yeah, they can rename from mental to some other thing. Right?
Yeah.
Well-being leave or some positive word they can use probably.
Right.
Yeah, Shatranjay.
Yeah, Giriji, since you mentioned, long back when I was there, I applied for this medical leave, not sick leave.
Mhm.
Harry, you're talking about the positive word. So I actually applied for medical leave. They said, "What's the problem? Do you have any health problem?" Because I never took a sick leave. I said, "No problem. I just want to ensure that I remain healthy."
Okay.
And it went up to the top of the management, and they came back and said, "This guy has not taken any leave for 20 years. Let us grant this leave to him." So, yeah, and this can be, you know, casual. It's a relationship issue, when we approach for such leaves also, that we want to take leave, other person say, "Give proof." And then you say, "Sorry, I can't give you the reason. Just give me.
Yeah.
I can't share." So it's a matter of conversation, and sometimes that conversation does not happen. That result into problem in within the team in working professional level also. So willingness to convey requires an environment where you feel confident that you can convey and you will not be judged for it. Same thing in the family also. Long back, I was visiting a family. It was about 25 years back. I clearly remember that. And my father asked me to visit that family, saying that's a very happy family. Just go and stay with them for a few days and figure out what is so right, what is something they're doing right, so that they're so happy. I visited them. It was a known family, and it was part of training by my father to me. It was more than 25 years back, I guess. Yeah. So hesitantly, I walked into that family, and we had conversation. And my father, I later came to know, my father already briefed them why I'm sending my son to you. And we had a conversation, and one thing I noticed during the conversation, that they had one basic principle in their family which they were consistently following, and saying, if there is an issue, it comes to your mind about a family member or disagreement, talk it out before going to bed. Don't leave it for the next day. Whatever it takes, have a conversation, after dinner conversation, before you go to bed. Sort it out and then only go to bed. That's one basic principle, and it struck me. And I said, yes, that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Because if you don't do this, it will keep piling up, and it might be too late. probably.
Mm-hmm.
And till today, I follow this and I find it is very valuable, and somebody has to initiate it, whosoever is feeling comfortable. And at times persist with it, despite others saying, no problem, no problem. Kyun aisa soch rahe ho? Did I say there is a problem? People don't even want to acknowledge that problem does exist. There's a disagreement on something which may create nuisance for us. So at least one side has to persist. No problem. Let us find out. And I found it very useful. Willingness to have conversation. And at times forcing it, not forcing to the extent that other is absolutely unwilling, but typically in family, people are willing to communicate, they're just avoiding it. So even if somebody is saying no, does not mean the person does not acknowledge the existence of problem, is just trying to avoid, because the person is not sure how to resolve it or feel that it may even worsen the situation. So, and it requires clarity on thought, as you mentioned rightly. Before we walk into the conversation, we should know what is the issue and what probably we need to talk about. Casual chit chat at times does not result into, it may look casual, but you need to be well prepared for that so-called casual conversation. Just like I realize professional clinical psychologists do, it may appear to the patient that it's a casual conversation, but the other side is well prepared.
Yes.
For any possible, you are saying outcome is unpredictable response from other side. So I thought it was a very valuable feedback from that family, and I attended their family conversation after dinner, and it was so eye-opening for me that I thought it's worth doing it. And I try doing that in our family. So I would like to thank my father to send me to such a family to give me an exposure of what needs to be done. And it was a very calculated move by my father, and I was resisting like any young adult will resist. क्या है पाप पिताजी कहाँ भेज रहे हो ऐसा भी कोई जाता है क्या किसी के घर में? He persisted and I agreed with his persistence because I had this basic trust that कुछ तो है उनके दिमाग में. With that basic trust, I did go, and then I found it very, very valuable, life-changing input. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very important. I think it's a great practice. All of us can follow this. That don't go to bed, without resolving, any issue, if any. Thanks for adding that, Mr. Anybody else wants to add or any question? Amitaji? Namaste. Good morning. आपका voice थोड़ा low है.
Now,
अभी ठीक है.
This tough conversation is very difficult at my end. I'm not able to convey my feelings correctly. And in other hand, not able to understand the same from the other side as well. So it is difficult. When you are not able to put yourself, then it creates issues. So I always prefer to be silent in that case, rather to create a mess. It's better to be silent because you never know your feelings at times. You are in a mood where you cannot express. So this communication part is very difficult for me. So I always follow better to be quiet.
मगर अगर सॉल्व होना है तो कुछ बात करने के बाद ही होगा. सॉल्व तो नहीं होगा.
But I found that other person is defensive. So that hurts me. So I'll go for a very formal type of
courtesy
communication. ठीक है ना, that at least it is a decorum will be maintained, na? Rather to create a mess. So that I follow. But I always found that I'm not able to put myself correctly. So it needs time, or maybe I think it is not my cup of tea.
No, I think that's what I was mentioning in there. The precondition to have this kind of tough conversations is, first of all, having a good relationship with them. अगर अभी अगर हम उनके बारे में नेगेटिव फीलिंग में है और वो हमके हमारे बारे में नेगेटिव फीलिंग, कन्वर्सेशन तो होने वाला ही नहीं है और रिजल्ट भी नहीं आएगा. So first thing is to work out for a better relationship with that person, leaving these issues aside. Then only I think we'll be able to talk to them freely.
You are right, but maybe my condition ki I want that other person also be very sophisticated. When it goes somewhere else, so I feel ki it is not possible. So maybe that is why preconditioning ki I want very good words when you are communicating. So
Yeah,
then I don't.
उनका competency भी देखना पड़ेगा, वो capable है या नहीं. उनका capability नहीं है, फिर हम expect कर रहे हैं, तो वो कैसे करेगा?
तो वो तो होना चाहिए ना, बेसिक मैनर्स. बेसिक
नहीं, वो
मैनर्स
होना चाहिए. वो हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन है. कोई बहुत लोगों में नहीं होगा, ये रियलिटी है.
then how to deal?
Yeah, that's what पूरा वर्कशॉप तो उसी के नहीं, पहले तो आप ये समझिए कि पहले see understand that this evolution is going on, it goes on. So every person is at different level with respect to the clarity, with respect to the right understanding. Some people gathering some degrees and having some work experience, professional experience, some position does not make you automatically that a person with the right understanding, a person with clarity. That we need to understand the skill part, that is different, and the right understanding part is different. So it is possible that they're completely. We also operate with a lot of precondition, not with clarity or the right understanding. So first, when we understand that every one of us lack, percentage is different, scale, but every one of us lack in some or the other aspects. First, let us understand this. In some people, when it is, to a higher degree they are lacking, they become a troublemakers. Not only that they suffer, we are also suffering inside, but we are not making troubling others. That may be our level, but in some other cases, their level is maybe such bad that they are suffering and they are troubling others. It's possible. So in such situation, first of all, when we understand that the person needs help, it's like a person बीमार है, person needs help, मगर क्या किया, हमसे help लेगा भी नहीं वो.
Definitely.
वो already हमसे better सोच के बैठे रहता है. मतलब ये बीमारी का लक्षण ही ऐसा है कि वो हमसे ऊपर सोचता है. बीमारी ऐसा है. So he will not take input from us. So first thing is that to let go of the negative feeling we have towards him, have this empathy, have this trust feeling rather than opposition to what he is now. क्योंकि ये opposition हम express भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो हमारे अंदर ही है. Because of that हमारा suffer, we are actually feeling unhappy inside. उसको सब पता भी नहीं है. तो पहले तो ये समझना है कि हर आदमी एक प्रोसेस में है, वो प्रोसेस चल रहा है. जो कॉन्शियसली एफर्ट कर रहे हैं वो इंप्रूव होंगे, वो एफर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, एफर्ट नहीं पुट कर रहे हैं, वो इंप्रूव नहीं होंगे. And it all depends on how much, what kind of sanskar is there, and what kind of effort went in his education process, what kind of family he has got, and after that what kind of things he got exposed to, how much effort he has put on improving himself. It depends on these factors. If all these things have not happened to him, I mean, right understanding or the clarity aspect will be very poor in many of us. So this is a situation to be take this into account, that the people will be like this. Accordingly, have, even after all that, also have right feeling towards them. अभी conversation नहीं कर सकते हैं, उसे right behave नहीं कर सकते, तो वो हमसे नहीं कर पाएगा. मगर इतना तो हो सकता है कि the feeling inside, the feeling I have towards that person can be positive. इतना तो हो सकता है. अगर बाहर जो है आप courtesy से बिहेव कर रहे हैं, वो करते रहें, मगर फीलिंग जो है ना वो सही हो सकता है. वो बिल्कुल हमारे हाथ में है. उससे क्या है ना, बाहर चेंज नहीं होगा और वो भी चेंज नहीं होगा तुरंत, मगर we are at peace.
Yeah.
We are at peace.
Yeah, I'll try to understand that they might be in a stressful situation, because in working place or even at home, the life is quite mechanical and it is very difficult to be at peace. And we normally are stressed or mentally like क्या कह सकते हैं कि बहुत ज्यादा तनाव होता है, तो it is very difficult to be in a respective communication. So it happens. I do understand, but वो defensive mode रहता है, so I'll be quiet कि I'm not able to, because even I'm also stressed. So at times I always feeling कि get aside and enjoy your place rather to change anybody else. So that is my always the way to be at peace.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So anybody else? Yeah, please, Shadrindraji, you can unmute.
Yeah, some observation on what Amitaji said. If it happening at times that we are taking a back seat and waiting for things to change and storm to be over, it's fine. But if it is happening too frequently or most of the time, that means it is a pointer to our inability to initiate the conversation. So probably we need to look inside. At times, yes, if it happening, I'm just giving number 2 out of 10 times we take this position that, fine, let's be silent on this, wait for 1 month, 1 year, whatever is that time. Fine, it's a good strategy at times, because we can't force upon conversation on other also. But if it is becoming a routine, then I see a problem. I was recently heading a COVID task force and dealing with the 3rd wave of COVID. And you know what happens when people are stressed out? And you are the one who are taking the decisions. There are students, there are parents, there are other family, other stakeholders, press, everything. And we have no control. And at times still we can't say, I can't have conversation. I need to have conversation with all stakeholders, and unexpected response will come. In fact, we are expecting that unexpected response will come. Very aggressive response will come. Kya hai, kuch bhi nahi kar rahe. Things like kya hai, hamari jaan loge, it's a call, whether to call student to campus or not to call student to campus, and what conditions and what restrictions, physical, mental, all aspects. So it required truckload of tolerance and patience.
Yes.
And we expect that, aggressive responses will come from some quarters, and still conversation was necessary, and we went ahead and had conversation, expecting that there'll be a lot of noise. So it requires truckload of patience to get the essence out of that noise, see, and what is the crux of the matter? Because not many people, as Amitaji is saying, is very sophisticated in conveying their actual concern. It comes in various forms, like a kid. Problem kahin hai, or it will, appear in some other form. So it requires a lot of ability to extract the actual problem from all the noise which is thrown at you. And I experienced this firsthand in the last 3 months during wave 3. And it was an experience in itself, and very learning experience, and it helped in maturing our thoughts, our behavior. And if we are in Hariji, when you are saying that inside, we expect that people will be aggressive, but there's no opposition to them.
Yes.
It's a very important feeling. The other side gets it, that, we are, despite we saying all sorts of things, this person is carefully, patiently listening. They can make out whether the person wants to blame me or wants to find the problem and solve it. So this feeling inside, it's not about external mannerism or sophistication. It is about the feeling inside. I think that is the most important, and others get it. 9 out of 10 times others get that feeling, irrespective of what words we use. Yes, words do matter, but it's not more important than the feeling inside. The feeling inside is very, very critical. And that's what I experience. And whenever I lack that feeling, I realize the conversation is broken.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I worked on it, and I realized that whenever I ensured that the feeling inside me, not the behavior outside, but the feeling inside me is right,
Yes.
before entering the conversation and during the conversation, it worked in most of the cases. That's what I felt during the stressful task force COVID third wave period in Hyderabad. So, very important part, Harishji, which you pointed out, and I experienced it personally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I too did something of that sort, and these situations are very ripe. I mean, lot of opportunity to learn in those crisis situations. In fact, thanks for adding that. Amitaji, you can speak. Very few people are there, so anybody can.
Oh, okay, thank you. I got the point.
Yeah, thanks.
I do understand that the feeling part is important rather the words, but जो आदत है ना, I need that much. So
No
वो जो
problem. You
basic
can
thing.
take some time. You can take some time and work on it.
नहीं, I'll try, and thank you, sir.
अगर ये याद रहेगी फाइनली तो करना ही है.
फाइनली थोड़ा बहुत मैं कर लेती हूँ, जितना को बहुत रिक्वायर्ड होता है, बहुत एसेंशियल, और बाकी मैं छोड़ देती हूँ. क्योंकि सबकी लाइफ मैकेनिकल है. एवरीबॉडी इज इन सम सॉर्ट ऑफ स्ट्रगल.
मगर ये भी है कि हर कोई आराम से सुखी से हैप्पी रहना चाहता है, ये भी है. हाँ,
ठीक,
हमारा होप तो वो है.
वो एक उन्होंने ना ऑरा बनाया हुआ है अपने चारों तरफ, एवरीबॉडी, कि वो एक कंफर्ट लेवल में रहना चाहते हैं. वो दे डोंट वांट टू जस्ट स्टेप आउट. सो दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लम. सब कंफर्ट में रहना चाहते हैं, तो द प्रॉब्लम अराइजेस कि मैं if you want to speak, then you want to follow this pattern. That is what is heading.
Okay. Probably a wrong example, but I thought I'll take it. When during pregnancy, if we hope for the natural birth, and we wait till the end, but if it is not working out despite all our efforts, sometimes cesarean is required. Yes. So be it. Because we can't leave the kid inside, because it will be danger to both.
I got the point. Thank you, Ji.
Okay. Yeah, anybody else? Hemanji, Arvindji. Chandrasekhar Garu.
No doubt, sir.
I mean, you can share anything or anything you want to add. Yeah.
Hari garu, this is Naresh.
Yeah, Naresh. Yeah. Please.
Sometimes that conversations are sometimes it is non-verbal also. It will give the
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I observe myself. I have a negative about my mother. Already I told you many times to you. And I got pain. Why I'm getting pain? I'm expecting from her. That is a problem. Now after entering Jivan Vidya, first inside that one, I'm doing unconditional listening. I'm giving her, yes, you are important to me. That is also non-verbal. Recently we have something decisions we have to take. Then I emailed her. I want to do like this. What is your opinion? Like that, my relation improved a lot. And especially now discussion is going on Amita Garu, and the thing is what feeling level I changed myself. It gives me a lot of happiness. Yes, but sometimes we cannot say that we do like this. But if I give feeling level importance, they are important to us. Then it will give the healthy conversation. It helps me a lot. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, by our actions. First thing is feeling, first of all. after feeling, even when we feel that other person is not yet ready or we are not yet ready to have these conversations, by actions and our conduct itself is a very big statement in communication, in fact.
Recently, we've gone through an unfortunate incident. One of our students passed away. He was in hospital for 2 months and he could not survive. And there was a cremation and we just went there, said nothing, did nothing. We just there and participated in the ritual. And, you know, we normally add a wooden stick to the pyre, right? Said nothing is example of action. You know, other side, just our presence makes a lot of difference. The fact that somebody decided to come is good enough. You don't have to say anything. That makes a lot of difference. I think that's an important point made, that it's not necessary to say a word. We can convey a lot without even saying anything. Just by mere presence, just the fact that we chose to invest our time for somebody is good enough a message.
Yes. Yeah, I also quote one personal example. So particularly in these things, if it is family, you know, usually the way you involve yourself, how you conduct in some function, celebration, some family celebrations, some, you know, maybe there is some rath going on, or, you know, some birthday function or something. So like these are all occasions where you meet people, and then how do you conduct, you know, you always find that some relatives so actively they participate, they help the hosts, and some people go and talk to everybody, but you see some, you know, they just keep to themselves. So these are all occasions where we can actually build, you know, improve our relationship. Similarly, in the office, you always have some activities, like, you know, this COVID is an occasion where we are helping each other. You know, there will be in the office some common events will be there. In those events also, how we conduct and all without speaking, it's not a speaking opportunity, it is how we involve ourselves, how this non-verbal thing, the action part, the feeling part, I think makes a lot of difference. It happened, very positive development happened recently when I was very deliberately and much more wholeheartedly when I was involving one of the, you know, family functions. And though I did very naturally, I didn't do it with a plan or anything. It just came down. But that is it was also a change also for me genuinely. Earlier I was not like that, but with much by cultivating right feeling and having this deep intention to have much better relations. So it came out very naturally that I involved myself a lot in one of these family functions, and then was doing till the end throughout the day. When I was working, it came out. And they were able to sense it. I also did not understand it, but after the function, after a few days, you know, the children, the family, they were calling back and saying that, you know, how I've been throughout the day involving and doing these. And after that also, the children kept calling more frequently than they were calling earlier, and there is a change in their perception about me, and they understood very clearly that I am wanting to, you know, be in much better relationship with all of them. Maybe they had some other perception about me. So these things change by your actions as well. That maybe earlier, let us say, you're not taking your family members out, or you're not wishing somebody on their birthdays or important occasions, or not buying some gifts, or, you know, any of such actions will definitely change. Sometimes the material transactions are also, you know, important in the relation, because the feelings may not, you know, get communicated all the time if you're not in a day-to-day interaction. We say that, you know, I wholeheartedly have this feeling, that feeling for this person, but you never do anything in terms of an action or a material interaction. So that also, I think, we need not undervalue. I think it also plays an important role, because people have different conditions. They feel they're waiting for that confirmation. This guy seems to be okay, but does it really help me? If it costs him something in terms of, you know, bodily effort, or in terms of money, will he do something? That doubt they may have, right? Like spending money for them and doing physical work for them, giving time for them, is some clearly indicates, confirms that yes, this person actually wants to be with me. right? Sharing resources, that also communicates, really well. Yeah. So the non-verbal part, what Naresh was trying to add, is very good.
I would like to add another thing. At times, what Amitaji is saying is true. We determine that conversation is not possible, and that's fine, absolutely fine. But I noticed that in myself over the years, one is that we determine the conversation is not possible and we stop it or don't even initiate, but continue to have that strong negative feeling about the other person. That's situation one. And I used to frequently have this 25 years back, nothing unusual about it. When I started working on it, realized that fine, once we conclude that nothing is possible, or at least right now or for long period is not possible, why continue to have this negative conversation inside? Then clearly close that issue inside also, and just wait and watch without having those strong negative feelings. That actually helped me, and at least avoid any further negative expression or action from my side to further worsen the situation. So while we choose to close, it is probably very important to actually close inside also. Is it fine? Okay, let go. It's fine. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about between what is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Why unnecessary keep blabbering on social media? It's fine. I can't do anything about it, and just see, accept the status and move on with where I can do probably. So this removal of aggressive negative feeling is an important part when we want to go quiet. And I think during Vipassana sessions, it became very obvious that yes, it's very important to be quiet inside, not just sufficient to be quiet outside. Otherwise, it results into mental health issues. Yeah, thank you.
I want to add here one more thing. Earlier, it was like there was a struggle in my mind when I was not able to put myself, but now it comes to at peace. If I'm not able to convey my feeling, I know that the other person, like coordinator, especially at workplace, they are having their priorities. And I have mine, so I be very at peace. No need to convince her because she's not able to understand my priorities, and her priorities are different. So I'd rather to convince person. It's better to be quiet because everybody is leading a different life and different rules and regulations. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि it is good कि जब आप नहीं convince कर पा रहे हो तो better है कि
Let us not make the situation worse.
बस because I know कि मैं उसको नहीं convince कर सकती. So it's better कि अपना enjoy करो अपनी company at my place only. So मुझे ये ठीक लग रहा है पता नहीं क्यों. और I'm enjoying my place without talking anybody. It's very nice. मेरा अच्छा चल रहा है सब कुछ.
I'll share another point since others are not sharing and I'll keep speaking.
No problem. Yeah.
Pleasure listening as well.
So you know what happens, whether sometimes you don't have a choice of being quiet because we are in a position of responsibility and we can't be quiet. So at times, if we are not the owner of the issue, you know, then we have the luxury of keeping quiet and say, okay, I can't do anything. But suddenly I'm in a position of responsibility on that matter. Unfortunately, I don't have a choice to, you know, keep quiet. I have to do something. Then I realized that if I strongly feel that, no, I am not able to make any difference and that's my responsibility and there's an expectation because of that responsibility, in a couple of times, I made way for somebody else to take over and say, sorry, I'm not able to do anything. And there's no point me continuing in that position of responsibility. Probably somebody else can make difference and you just surrender and say, sorry, So a couple of times I took this decision of letting go, come out of that position, so that somebody, because there was no keeping quiet and not doing anything and continue to be in position of responsibility is not going to help anyone. It's going to probably worsen the situation. That's an institutional setup. It becomes even difficult because in institutional setup, you can at least exit. In a family setup, exiting is a lesser option. So it becomes very difficult. But if it comes to that, I have seen people exiting from family and saying, okay, let us take a break for a few months and then reconvene. Not easy to do that in family, and sometimes we find people like Buddha who said, look, let me exit. I am not able to be fit into the right, this place is not for me. Let me exit for good and come back after I'm sure about myself and about others. So, but yes, it is very difficult decision. But in institutional positions, it is easy to let go.
Yeah.
That position.
I found that I'm quite wrong. जो भी I'm doing, it seems that I need to work on that, because this is not the way to get rid of the issues. Just be quiet and just let pass the things. What I feel.
So Akhilji, you wanted to speak? Unmuted. Akhil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. You want to speak?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm understanding everything here.
Okay. Jayashri ji. Srikant ji, Venuna ji. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything you want to add? Are you following? Is it making
Yes,
sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, first, you have told that you need to have a right feeling towards others. After understanding, after forming a good internal feeling, you need to start good behavior with others. If not possible, I'm told that it is better to be quiet. I do have a lot of issues, sir. I can't deal humans. Work means if how much work.
Are we quiet internally? That is the important.
I'm not quiet, sir.
So when we think we are quiet, but are we quiet internally, or we are already having all kinds of conversations internally with them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I face that, sir. Internally, I have a lot of conversations, sir.
So we are not really quiet in real sense, right?
Yes, sir.
So we are talking about that.
I have to face, sir. I can't deal humans who create trouble. I keep them far, sir. I maintain myself far from them. Like that, I do my work, sir.
No, the physical distance can happen. That's fine. At least the input from them new input which we don't like as of now, which we are not able to digest as of now, will not come if you physically go away from them. But already the input that I've given earlier, we are very capable of rewinding it every day, right?
Yes, sir.
So even if they are not here, we rewind the cassette. We rewind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have, sir. If I talk, sir, I don't even sleep, sir. That day. At 4 o'clock, I will be rewinding that cassette only, sir. Morning 4 o'clock, I keep myself distance. That's why better not to have conversations with them. And I think what to do now. I concentrate on present, like that. I will deviate myself from them.
Yeah.
Can't change them, so I will change myself.
So recently, I've read one book called Letting Go, and whatever actually Shatranji was also adding of this part of letting go, I found this book to be very, very useful in situations like this. It's by David Hawkins. Maybe I'll just share the screen. You can find some online copy. This is completely about what we do, internally. We have these certain feelings, certain fears, certain pride, certain ego, like how we can just by letting go. Inside, I have these things, though we can buy peace and evolve towards the right direction and develop this right understanding. I find this book to be very useful, particularly when you have issues up to the level of serious depression, serious it can be very suicidal thoughts also, may come. Our productivity may come down. We may not be able to sleep well at all. We are not able to perform to the level that we are capable of in all these situations. Also, this person author is actually a doctor also. He's talking in the lines of what we do in human values driven with the and all, but he is also a doctor in a lot of clinical case studies. Also has several decades of experience. So maybe if you get a chance, you can just see this book. This book is called Letting Go. Just sounds very simple. And there are videos also, YouTube videos also by him. His book is Letting Go, the Pathway of Surrender. Basically, you surrender to the current. See, only there are 3 options in any situation. Either you run away from the situation, which in close relations is not possible, right? In other, like Chatendra said, in office possible, but in family not possible. Like you move away from the situation. The second, you change the situation. Many times that is also not possible. Many times in close relations, because you have issues with the other person you don't have good relations. So how can you change? The other person thinks that it is the you who have to change. So changing the situation is also mostly not in your control. Only option that is left is accepting the situation, surrendering to the situation. This situation is like that. As of now, we have a resistance to what is there. We don't accept that like my own, family members or outside situation, my own organization is like this, and we want it to be something else. So we want it to be something else. Whatever it is now, I don't accept it. I have a resistance every single minute, every single day. I want this not to be like this, not to be, but this is how it is. So that doesn't change. I doesn't change. Situation doesn't change, and I have this resistance. Only thing that is in my control. So do I have any control over any of these things? I don't have control. Am I capable of doing any of these changes? I'm not capable. At least one thing I can change is internally accepting that this is how it is. This is how it is. That itself will bring down our pain so much. Will bring down our pain. And we'll be a lot more peace. That this is how it is as of now. That doesn't mean giving up, or doesn't mean we are accepting our defeat or nothing like that. In fact, internal resistance to what is there already, right? The current situation is the pain. See, the gravity, right? So the some heavy item is on the ground, it's fine. The gravity is acting. When you try to lift it, some force is required, because the natural principle is that is at rest, but you're acting against the gravity. That's where when you require the force. Similarly, some situation is there, you are putting certain pressure to change that situation, or not accepting that situation. Opposing force is there, internal, that is not outside, but internally you don't want it, right? I wish the person is different. I wish this person is different. I wish this person behaves differently. Every day I'm saying he doesn't do it. So we just pile up these complaints and complaining attitude we have. Whereas this is how it is. Let me accept it. If I accept it, what am I going to lose? As of now, I'm already losing a lot. What further I lose? I may just lose some opportunities, maybe some physical discomfort. Some things may happen the way I don't want it to. Some things may happen not according to my liking. These are the costs, but that is how it is. Presently, the situation is like that. In fact, when we buy that peace internally, then a lot more innovative solutions will come. Many out of the box, ways will come, right? And then there will be a turnaround. First of all, we will be at peace. So this is called a path of surrender, path of acceptance. because we cannot move out of the situation. We cannot change the situation. Only thing that is left is accept the situation, right? So, yeah, if you get a chance, just look at that book, or David Hawkins' Letting Go videos also you can see. I mean, I found it to be quite useful. Yeah. And this letting go is not about other people. In fact, other people, for example, let's say, let's say some family member is saying something to me, right? And he's thinking, he's talking in language that I am wrong, right? And I am troubled by it. In fact, when I practice this letting go, I understood that the letting go, what actually I have to let go here, the let go is my expectation that with this family member has to behave rightly with me. I have an expectation. It is not about that family member. I have expectation that this person should think about me in a positive way. He needs to think that I am a great person. That expectation I have. So here, my expectation that other people think positively about me, my expectation other people behave, well with me is something I have to let go. Just let go. Let them think that, I am bad. Actually, I am a bad person only. Right? Bad person in the sense, there are so many things I have to improve on myself. Why should I think of myself as something great, anything? So many things are there in me to improve. Right? So whatever, in fact, other people are thinking about me is more than what I am, right? The marks they are giving, others are giving, I don't deserve it, right? I know it in my heart, but then if other person, sometimes they give the real marks, I'm hurt. So I found that
better to accept it and take it positively. I have to improve on it. I have to work on it.
Now, this letting go of our expectations I'm talking about. We have this expectation that other person needs to behave with me like this. This is an expectation I have with others.
Problem is with us expecting.
No problem maybe with others also, but the real pain in us is due to us only. First of all, nobody's making us unhappy. We have a choice to be happy or not happy in any situation.
Yes, sir.
It is not automatic that other people make us happy, make us unhappy. Other people can do whatever they keep doing it. Whether I'll be happy or not happy is my choice. It is not automatic. As of now, because we are not conscious, we are not aware, other people are able to make us happy, unhappy. That means we are not exercising our choice. That is the biggest power, right? Biggest strength. A human being has this faculty, has this ability that I can make this choice. You abuse me whatever you want, but inside I don't have to.
Being happy depending on others.
As of now, that is like that is what is Partantrata. Other person has our remote control. Our other person has remote control. We are talking about self-control. No remote control.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when we only exercise that option, see, you can abuse me. Now, one can say that, okay, if somebody is abusing so much, how can you not get disturbed? One can say in a normal language like this, but it is possible. Yes or not? In fact, in many situations that happens. With some people, it happens. Even if they abuse, we don't get disturbed. But with some people, we get disturbed actually. So the choice is there. Once we recognize that there is a choice, then we can exercise it. As of now, we may not be able to exercise it every single time, but at least recognize that there is a choice. Even before other person changes, other situation changes, it is possible for me to stay at peace.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is the crux of what we are trying to say.
That was very profound, Hari. Letting go false notion about ourselves.
Yes, of course. नहीं, बहुत लोग हमको already हम actually जो है ना वो उससे ज़्यादा समझ रहे हैं. उनको पता नहीं ना अंदर हम कैसे.
We carried away with their behavior most of the times.
तो जब कभी-कभी वो लोग सच बोलते हैं तो क्यों इतना बुरा मानना?
बुरा तो लग ही जाता है, इंसान है.
वो चने के झाड़ से गिरते तो चोट तो लगती है ना।
ऑब्वियसली इतना बड़ा बनाया हुआ है हमने अपना स्टेटस, तो वो स्टेटस बहुत जल्दी बिखर जाता है उनके एक आधा कोई भी सेंटेंस से। सो इट हैपेंस।
नहीं, जब जब सिद्धांत लेवल पे बात करते हैं तो ये तो मानते हैं कि हम सब पशु मानव है, अगर कोई हमको पशु बोल रहा है तो हम बुरा मानते हैं।
क्या करें, अब हैबिट हो गई है बुरा मानने की।
Okay. So,
hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning, Harish sir.
Good morning. Hi, Hemant.
Hemant here, sir. Very interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, because I also, sir, faced a lot of such situations in my life before 2-3 years back, but due to the company of good people like you as well as the sir from knowledge, I am able to pass through these stages. So, sir, I just want to share two things.
Yeah.
Very means what really helped me. It may work for others also. See, sir, first thing that as you told that most important part which decides everything in communication, it's my feeling. Because my feeling is basically what I am continuously conversing with myself. For example, as I feel it that some person, see, for example, I met some person during my jogging. See, that person did not give me side. I had to actually be very conscious that okay, I have to move only on that side. So sir, as soon as that person came, so I thought that again, see, I have to break my track, and again negative feeling. I don't know what type of person is he or so and so. But sir, as soon as after that, means my good feeling went away. So I thought that haven't I any control? So sir, I had one trick. Means see, I want to have my positive feeling in myself as well as for others also. So I will say one good word to him without expecting anything. So sir, in Hindi I call him Suprabhat in jogging. So as soon as he crosses me, I call him Suprabhat. So he just had one glance towards me, no problem. Again say I continuously, because as soon as that person, my consciousness automatically got away. So, sir, after 3-4 interaction, he also, his behavior began to change. He also began to reciprocate. Suprabhat, sir. Now, sir, as that person continues to go on, now I had not any bad feeling. So, madam, so, sir, what is the summary is that means I decided that I want to change my feeling. I can't change the other person, but I should have always a very good feeling. Whatever be the person, means whatever may be his condition. So that thing, sir, I continue to work on my feeling. And I can always work upon my feeling. I am the complete master of it. For example, someone was saying that I had so much to a negative thing about the other person. So, sir, I feel it, okay, that person may have rejected, he has no more idea, but I am aware. So what can I do in that situation to generate a love, if possible? If I have the control, what can I do? For example, say hi, simply say hi without expecting anything. So, sir, one thing, so feeling is the most important, sir, to means power in our, with every one of us. Yeah. Second thing, sir, that what behavior, see, as soon as I begin to do it, I appreciate myself. Okay, you have done it. Means because, sir, appreciation from, usually I expected appreciation from outside, that somebody other would appreciate, okay, Hemant, you are doing good. Now it is good. Then only I continue to follow that behavior. But, sir, it is not possible because so and so due to many conditions. So as soon as whenever I initiate that type of behavior, I appreciate myself, and how can I extend that behavior in my other spheres of life where I am not able to do right now. These are the two things. Thank you.
Yeah, very rightly pointed. And this feeling also, a कब change हो रहा है ये पता होने के लिए we need to become aware about it. I mean, only when we practice awareness and we understand that the choice I was talking about, that we have a choice to have right feeling or the wrong feeling all the time. So since we don't pay attention to ourselves, we are not practicing the awareness as we practice other things. So we think that the feeling is changing automatically. The reaction is coming out. It is not automatic. It is changing because we are not looking towards that. That is towards ourselves. We don't know when it is changing. Once we start paying attention and understand that this awareness practice is the most important thing, then things will turn around. So we'll end the session by emphasizing this awareness practice. Just be aware of what feeling is there currently, what is going on inside. Is it naturally acceptable? Continuously being in a naturally acceptable state of the self is what is happiness, and that is how we improve. Just practicing this awareness continuously, while doing the work or by having conversations, or all the time, is our target. So as far as I am concerned, I take out deliberately some time every day to practice this awareness, because this state is required 24/7. As of now, most of us do not have it. Just to start this and cultivate this practice, I feel it is a good idea to at least spend some time, something like 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, any time of the day. But if you want to do anything consistently, the morning is better. Whatever time you wake up, just before you get into work, start your day, just sit for 10 minutes or 5 minutes and start paying attention to yourself. What is going on inside? Let's say right feeling is there or not. If any wrong feelings are coming, so you just acknowledge that is there, and I want it to have right. So with this itself, your day also will start in a very positive way, and then it ensures that every day we are developing. जैसे हम हर दिन ऑफिस जाते हैं, in the return we are getting the monthly salary. Every day you work on your self development, you accumulate little bit, 5 रुपए 10 रुपए जो 5 मिनट 10 मिनट काम कर रहे हैं, ऐसे ही हमारा बैलेंस बढ़ेगा, सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट का बैलेंस भी ऐसे ही बढ़ेगा, right? With the small amounts of deposits working on the self development. So with that, we'll end the session. So unless there is some comment by anybody, we'll wait for a minute and then end the session. So 8:30. Any comment by anybody?
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, you have changed my means. I'm suffering from 1 month. Now onwards, I will change my way of thinking and way of life.
Yeah.
So that it helps me better my life, sir.
Yeah. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It was really
Thank
a
you.
pleasure listening to you. बहुत अच्छी discussion चल रही थी. It was really means a lot.
Okay. So thank you everybody. So enjoy your weekend. See you next month. Yeah. Bye everyone.
Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, Naresh, you can end the session. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Brilliant.
Bye.